Welcome back, YouTube. This is Rich again with an exclusive YouTube video blog. Tonight's YouTube video blog is about the 5 Major League Baseball teams that have never won the World Series. I'm going to be ranking them from 5 least likely to win a World Series anytime soon to the team I think will next break their World Series drought. But first, these messages. Listen to Crystal's Time Machine each and every Friday and Saturday night from 9 to 11 p.m. on WCAP 980, where everybody gets it. And if you can't catch the show live, listen to the podcast exclusively on archive.org. Goes back to October 2019. Follow Crystal on various social media websites. Twitter at Crystal Amy John, Instagram at Crystal Johnson, Facebook, the official Crystal's Time Machine Facebook page, the official Crystal's Time Machine group page, and Game Show fan page, and follow her on YouTube at Crystal Johnson. One exclusive video a week, and follow and also say hello to Broadway Pizza, the official sponsor of Crystal's Time Machine. And if you say the promo code Crystal's Time Machine, you get $2 off your order. Broadway Pizza serves pizza, calzones, pasta, subs, salads, seafood, appetizers, and a whole lot more. Okay, and now on to the feature presentation. With Texas Rangers win against the Arizona Diamondbacks in the World Series this past Wednesday, the teams that have not won the World Series in Major League Baseball history of the current is now down to 5. So 25 out of the 30 MLB teams have not won a World Series. So these 5 teams are the Milwaukee Brewers, San Diego Padres, the Colorado Rockies, Tampa Bay Rays, and the Seattle Mariners. And I'm going to be ranking them from number 5 to number 1, with 5 being the least likely to win a World Series anytime soon, to number 1, which is going to break their World Series drought in the near future. Okay, number 5 on this list is the Colorado Rockies, who came into the National League in 1993. They've only made a handful of playoff appearances, and they made it to the 2007 World Series, but they got swept in 4 straight by the Boston Red Sox. The Colorado Rockies play in Coors Field, which is a mile high, and they have a lot of offense, the Rockies, in their history, but they have never developed pitching that's lasted their entire career in the mile high city. And usually, every few years or so, the Colorado Rockies somehow squeak into the playoffs, but they do not go very far. And for the Colorado Rockies to win the World Series, they would probably have to go on a very, very hot run. The offense carrying them, probably they would have to win a lot of 12 to 10 games in the World Series and somehow get miraculous pitching performances by their bullpen to win the World Series. I don't think that will happen anytime soon, but you never know. The Rockies probably, if they reach 500, that's a successful season for them. Number 4 on this list is the San Diego Padres. The San Diego Padres came into Major League Baseball in 1969. They've only made a playoff a handful of times, and they actually made 2 World Series, 1984 and 1998, but they lost in 5 games to the Detroit Tigers in 1984. And in 1998, they were swept by the New York Yankees in 4 straight. And the Padres, in their history, were like had a lot of great talent, but somehow they could not get over the hump when they were very, very good. But when they went on building phases, it would take years for them to get better, to be competitive again. And the Padres have a lot of great players right now, like Manny Machado, and Fernando Tatis Jr., among others, and Xander Bogaerts. But they might have to slash payroll this upcoming year, and they might have to reset things again. That will bring them maybe to another rebuilding project, which that's not good. Number 3 on this list is the Milwaukee Brewers. The Milwaukee Brewers started in 1969 as Seattle Pilots. They had to move to Milwaukee in 1970 because they were bankrupt. And buying them out was Bud Selig, who became the commissioner of Major League Baseball. The Brewers had very competitive teams in the 70s up to the early 90s. They actually made the World Series in 1982, but they got bumped 7 games by St. Louis Cardinals. They had some good players over the years, Robin Yount and Paul Molitor and Ben Oglivie and Cecil Cooper and Jim Gantner, among others, had a couple of good pitchers like Teddy Higuera, Wally Fingers, Don Sutton. But by the early 1990s, the Milwaukee Brewers fell on some hard times, having 14 straight losing seasons in a row. They switched from the American League to National League in 1998, but in the late 2000s, early 2010s, they had a very competitive team with Prince Fielder and Ryan Braun making playoffs in 2008 and 2011. They came within 2 games of making the World Series in 2011, and then they had a stretch of making the playoffs 5 years out of 6. One time, like making it to Game 7 of the National League Championship Series. But the Brewers might have to give up their best pitcher, Corbin Burns, this offseason, and they might have to reset things. But the NL Central's a very winnable division. But I can't see the Brewers, going all the way to the World Series. They have to get rid of Corbin Burns anytime soon. Number 2 on this list is the Seattle Mariners. The Seattle Mariners came into the league in 1977. For the first 14 years of their existence, they had a losing record. They played in a very bad stadium for the first 20 years, the Kingdome. But they had some good players, including Ken Griffey Jr., Edgar Martinez, Alex Rodriguez, Randy Johnson, Jay Buhner, among others. They made the postseason several times in the late 90s and early 2000s, had 116 wins in 2001, but they never made it to the World Series. And then for 21 years, they did not make the playoffs. And they, had some decent teams, but one year they had a winning record, another year they didn't. Then it just, back and forth. Some experts were saying that they could have been They were kind of a little bit of a cursed franchise. They made the playoffs in 2022, making it to the ALDS, and they missed the playoffs this past year by a couple of games. But the Mariners have, a good pitching staff, and Julio Rodriguez is probably going to be the next big superstar MLB player. And with the the ALS kind of in a little bit of a state of flux because the Astros core is aging, and the Rangers, even though they won the World Series, they might be one of those teams that might not be good next year. And with the A's moving to Las Vegas and the Angels looking to rebuild, most likely, the Mariners might dominate the ALS for years to come, and maybe they could sneak to the World Series. And number one on this list is the Tampa Bay Rays. The Tampa Bay Rays came into existence in 1998. They had a losing record for the first 10 seasons, but since 2008, they've been kind of a model franchise for Major League Baseball, developing young talent. But every time these talented players get good and they're about to be arbitration eligible or head to free agency, the Rays trade them for more young talent. And one of these years, I think everything will probably come together for the Rays, and they could do a lot of good things in the playoffs, make a World Series and win it. But would the fans come to Tropicana Field? That's the problem. That's a horrible baseball stadium. They couldn't even sell out the playoff games they were in this year. That's an embarrassment to Major League Baseball. What would happen if they made the World Series? You can't have like a half full stadium for the World Series. They probably would have to give away tickets for free. But the Tampa Bay Rays is supposed to get a new stadium in 2028, but I feel that they're most likely the next Major League Baseball team to win their first World Series. So leave a comment down below. Thanks for all your support. Talk to you again soon.